fathers of the church used to say that God has given two revelations. One is the book of nature, and the other is, of course, the book that we call the Bible. And that these equally reveal who God is and his plan for humanity. Of course, I'm speaking of science that is genuine and not just an ideology, but verifiable science in which the plan of God, especially in our time, is being revealed by extraordinary discoveries almost every 5 minutes, both in the infinitesimal world of the subatomic of quantum mechanics, or the enormous infinite stretches of the galaxies on their way at top speed to nowhere, so fast that they outdistance the speed of light, and after a few more years we won't be able to see them at all, and we won't have any idea of what the first galaxies were like. The question I'd like to have somebody answer to me in the scientific community is nowhere a place? So again, from that perspective, there is space disappears into spaciousness that has no limit. So time and space suggest themselves as being really a particular kind of culture of our brain, or the way it's designed, that sees reality from a rather limited perspective that we call.
When we get into the revelation of nature, we don't have to worry about commentary and dogma. That hits us very straight with every morning sunrise and a sunset. The other thing is how dogma, I want to say this about the magisterium in Judaism and in the church. What happens is there's a good teaching there, and along with that comes a cosmology. When the two of them got wedded and they couldn't be separated, then people like Giordano Bruno and others ran into trouble when they said there's a greater cosmology than your current magisterium is able to embrace. And people got very much afraid. And you find the same thing in Judaism today. If you were to say to some Orthodox people the world is older than 5,765 years, they'd get upset. And the third part of revelation that we don't often talk about is the one that happens in the soul. And this is where I find centering prayer and all forms of meditation are so important, because they put you right back to what does your soul really know? Then the question is, how do you explain it to the mind?
Yeah, that's always a problem. Well, there's a lot of research today about the heart, you know, and they're saying that the heart thinks too. It's not just a pump. It has all kinds of synapses with the brain and influences the brain
and the skin.
Enormously.
Skin is an extension of the brain too, in a way. Sure. I think that's so wonderful when you start to think about all ways of sensing that are given to us, so that the sensorium serves consciousness. And but when you reflect on how is consciousness conscious, that's very much where Buddhism has been so much of help to all of us, to Judaism and to Christianity, because it has a sense of reflecting on itself, the consciousness of itself. And I think this is what puts us in squarely, as it were, in the presence of God, to know how is it that I'm conscious?
Well, the great God of nature and of these cosmic discoveries, or the infinitesimal God who runs the subatomic world too with apparently great interest and effectiveness, there's the tenderness of God, the personal character of God that is not perceived in all the world religions, but it is certainly a very significant part of Judaism and Christianity.
I don't want to dismiss the other ones either at this point, because when I go in Hinduism, there is so much of that almost divine emotion toward people. But of course, in Judaism, Christianity, it's there. And even in Islam, when they call him Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, the merciful, the compassionate one. We were talking before about the Song of Songs.
Yes, I was going to say that that's an important revelation to put alongside of of both the nature and the biblical revelations of God is completely transcendent and hard to get.
That's where the spousal stuff comes in. I think Mother Tessa would be talking about that the soul and God have a spousal relationship. And you find that about Israel and God, and about the church and her spouse. And this relationship, the spousal relationship, is, when it is present, it feels like the acme of ecstasy. When it's not there, it feels such a longing. As it says in the Song of Songs, on my bed at night I sought him whom my soul loveth, I sought him and found him not. Yes. And I think the issue of the longing of the soul has been discounted too much in organized religion. We feed people dogma too fast without letting them taste the hunger.
Yeah. It would be wonderful to recapture that. One cutting-edge physicist says you can't have a thought without affecting the whole universe and everything in it instantaneously.
That interconnection is so amazing.
Everything is one source, and how to find the symbols that keep people in that perspective, so they're not overwhelmed by the diversity of God.